Going live. Can you feel your skin? Can you hear when she whispers in your ear? Can you do what she does? Do you know what she knows? Do you even care? Does she forgive you when you took away what you left behind? When you open your eyes, do you really see her? Do you take her all in? Dancing barefoot in her hands, you know she's with you. Are you alone again? Does she forgive you when you took away the one you left behind? Does she forgive you for what you took away the one you left behind? Take her for granted. You forget to say thank you. When you leave, does she know that? To take her home with you. Does she forgive you for what you took away, for what you left behind? Does she give you shivers? Can you feel when she touches your skin? Does she forgive you for when you took away and what you left behind? She forgives you when you took away and what you left behind. Hello, welcome. My name is Jamie Black. It is an honor and privilege to be here with you all. I trust your world is going well or starting to figure yourselves out in what's happening these days. And I just want to share a bit of gratitude and acknowledgement of where I'm currently standing. So I stand on the unceded traditional territories of the Comox First Nation, and in offering a land acknowledgement where I stand, I just want to invite you to take a moment to realize what land you're standing on right now. And think about the people who have been here, are here, have been here before us, and that might influence you in some way in your lives now or have done so in the past. And just in the act of acknowledging, start to think about some ways that maybe you choose to give back or offer gratitude to the local First Nations people and their families and the land right here and now. So as I said, it's an honor and privilege to be here. This is very exciting as an introduction to the Bardic arts. My name is Jamie Black, and I'm going to share a few things with you. Before I do, I just want to invite you to sort of set the stage for your journey in this study. So as you can probably imagine, my intention is not to sit here and dictate what we're doing and how we're doing it. I am as much a participant in this learning as you are. And maybe I facilitate a little bit more, but I would like to get to a place where whoever's interested gets to join in the journey of studying the Bardic arts. So one of the first things I like to do is set myself up with all of my things and light a candle. So if you have a candle and maybe a space where you choose to bring little bits of nature in. So we have some oak leaves and little pumpkins left over from the Halloween adventures. And maybe other special items that you'd like to put on a table or a space near where you're going to be sitting and enjoying this space. And really settle into, a place where you get to feel good about learning. It's weird being on the internet. It's weird having this, digital way of existing, and it's not very cozy. But when we're in the comfort of our own homes, it gives us permission to be in our slippers and pajamas even. So I'm just going to light a couple candles. While I do that, I invite you to do the same. And maybe say a prayer, acknowledging maybe your ancestors, or maybe there's family members that you want to acknowledge or send a prayer out to. And just take a breath. Settle in the space. And start to realize what it gets to become. So I'm just going to turn you so you can see my little space. You can imagine the amount of technology it takes to set all of this sort of stuff up. Thank you. If you're currently watching, I just invite you to click the view option, whether you're using your cell phone or, and click on speaker view. And that way you should be able to see me. It's interesting when we're on Zoom. Now I have a new sound system we get to try out here. I'm just going to do a little test run, see if it works. It might take me half a minute to set it all up here. So just one moment. me now? No. Can you hear me now? Not now. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I need the volume up. Can you hear me now? How about now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Should I talk louder? Okay. This is how this is going. It's funny to be so far away. Can you hear me now? Great. Well, this is a bit of a test pilot to see how this is all going to go. And for me to sort of give space for the creative to happen in this study of the Bardic arts. As you can see, I have a few things around me. I have a white screen. I have my drums, piano, guitar, you know, a few items that really help me connect with this work and hopefully inspire you. So I'm just going to add one. So this is going to be the space that we create and that we study the Bardic arts. And my invitation is that you find a space
where you get to have room to move. I've got a little bit of room to move around on the floor, that you have art supplies. Maybe you like painting or drawing. You have some instruments, and you're maybe willing to interact and engage with some of the craft of being a bard. I want to share with you what we're doing and why. For a number of years, I personally have been interested in connecting with my ancestors that are Celtic, they're Scottish, English, Irish, and learning more about why I study or practice or do bardic type things. So we're going to actually Google what the bardic arts means. But to me, what it means is being a storyteller through art, music, dance, poetry, and connecting with the earth. And I have ordered some information from what's called the Order of Bards, Ovates, and Druids. Now, I want to just explain that I'm still in a space in my life where I don't know exactly what it is I believe in. I don't have a particular religion, but I am very spiritual, and I spend time connecting with the earth. So when I heard of the Order of Bards, Ovates, and Druids, and I heard of their little booklets, what I came to understand is that maybe this could be a tool to help us explore what it means to be a bard. I'm having this feeling like I need to be closer to the screen. I'm just going to do that now. See all this fancy new technology? This feels better. All right. So a few people have also shared that they are interested in connecting with their ancestors through the arts. They've also shared that, when we come into the season of fall in the Northern Hemisphere, sometimes it can be lonely. Sometimes we end up in a space of wishing we had connection. And for me, I don't spend a lot of time going out to social events anymore because of COVID. So I decided to set up this experience to let people like you feel like you're connected. Now, the way this is going to work is starting next month, anyone who's going to be attending will join in a Zoom call. Now, the Zoom call is going to be private. It's not going to be public like this video is. And in this private session, it'll give us a chance to connect. We can take ourselves off of, like unmute ourselves and have real conversations and, check in about some of the content. And what I've been finding in these readings is that they leave us with poetry. They leave us with inquiry. They leave us with really beautiful things to review and reflect on. And my intention is that we're going to take this information in slowly, and maybe we're going to chew on it for a while. Maybe we're going to hear the words and then feel the words. And then maybe we're going to draw the words and then play them like the Auramura. I don't know if you know what the Auramura is, but in Celtic practice, that's basically the music of the earth. And what that sounds like, maybe anything. It could be a guitar, but it could be a piano playing. It could be toning. It could be silence. Something about playing sounds. Now, trust me, I've done this before where I've been the musician on this end and I'm trying to engage people on the other end of Zoom. It's kind of a one-way street. But what I want to invite you to do is that when you hear the music played and come through to you, you play your own instrument. You mute yourself, but you play your own instrument and you get to connect with that sound. You can close your eyes. You can pretend that we're all together in this. I was also thinking that maybe we dream those words that come through in these teachings. Maybe we journey these words. Maybe we go on a guided visualization and feel the words. Maybe we meet our ancestors with these words. Communing with our ancestors is a way for me to feel more connected with them, even though I may not be able to interact with them right here and now. Sometimes it's those moments of silence that let something really drop in to our heart and really resonate. So I'd just like to invite you to come into this space fully as if we're sitting in a living room, that there's candles lit, there's nice music playing in the background, and that you're feeling whole and connected. And I was thinking, if it's of any interest, and I'm only going to do this if there's actually an interest, given that we're only meeting once a month, I'm going to give you a little quest. I'm going to invite you to take that little nugget of information that came from that session. Each session I'm anticipating will be anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours, depending on how the whole group goes, a chance to share with each other of what's going on. And then we're going to find a nugget that came from that session. And I'm going to invite you to take it outside. When I do this work and I go and sit by an old Douglas fir tree in the Pacific Northwest, and I sit maybe in the rain, maybe I've got my rain pants on and my rain jacket on, and I've got this verse turning over and over in my mind, sometimes it turns into a song. Sometimes I just hum it through and I resonate with it. Sometimes I dream about it, and then it teaches me. So that's the invitation, is we're not just going to read the words, thank you very much, have a good night. We're going to soak it in, and we're going to question it, and we're going to anticipate it and see what comes. So like I said, I invite you to have a journal. So I make Coptic bound journals. And I take these journals, and they're my favorite because they lie flat. And the inside is just blank white paper, so that I can take any old pen I want, and I can maybe sketch my ideas on the paper. So maybe I have words that I've written, but maybe I feel like sketching a tree. Maybe I feel like adding something that is allowing me to go a little bit deeper into that journey. Let me know if you want one of these. I'll give them to you for a discount, but only you. Don't tell anyone else. All right. So pull out your pen and paper. And if you haven't done that already, go ahead and find yourself pen and paper. And I also want to invite you, feel free to take a screenshot if there's anything that I'm doing that inspires you and you want to take and use in your own practice. What I do ask is that you don't go taking this information or taking this, any of the visuals, and using it as your own tool to teach other people. I trust that that is an agreement that will feel good. And yeah, I appreciate you honoring that request. All right. So I have been wanting to, let's see if this is going to work. This fancy pants idea of being able to use my computer from afar. Oh, it's only sort of going to work. I need to be be able to type. All right, what we're going to do. I'm going to share screen. I trust you all can see that. A little bit of a Okay. It's kind of fun to Google definitions of things. So you might see the first one says, what is the meaning of bardic? So it says being a bard or relating to a bard's poetry. Then it says, what is the Bardic tradition? Bards were amongst the most respected people in the land. Ooh, maybe this is why I want to do this. High status members of society who had obligations to praise their princes, kings, and queens. They could then retell a famous story from Welsh history in the style of the Bardic tradition and discuss why bards were held in such high esteem in medieval Wales. Interesting. What makes someone a bard? A person who composes and recites epic or heroic poems. So this is the definition on Google. And what I would like to invite you to do is expand the reciting of epic and heroic poems to sharing stories through art, music, dancing, poetry, and connecting with the earth. So maybe they play the harp or the lyre or the like, one of an ancient Celtic order of composers and reciters of poetry. Any poet, the bard William Shakespeare. How do you explain what a bard is? A tribal poet-singer skilled in composing and reciting verses on heroes and their deeds. A composer, a singer, declaimer of epic or heroic verse. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention so you could sort of see what the definition is for everyone and maybe help you understand how I'm stretching that a little bit in this study of a bardic arts. So the stretches, we're going to expand it to shadow play. We're going to expand it to body movement and using art and music to stretch our comfort zones a little bit. So it's not just going to be me sitting up front here and doing all that for you. I'm inviting you to join in and play along. So let's say, for example, I put something on this screen. When I put something on the screen, I'm going to ask you what to do with it. So I'm going to be your hands and I'm going to move things around. But if we're going to dive into a poem and really produce some visual arts to connect with that poem, like I said, I'll be your hands, but you can help make some decisions on what to do and how to do it. And then maybe eventually it can become a mini production or a mini piece that can be shared with people to reconnect people with poetry. Now, here's the thing. Poetry can happen here and now. We can invent it on the spot, or it can be hundreds of thousands of years old. That is the invitation, is that we're going to expand our understanding and awareness of the poetry that has happened, that has come here, and that's coming through us. So I'm going to read a passage here written by Philip Cargom. If you don't know who that is, he at one point was one of the main guides of the order of Bards, Ovates, and Druids. He has made a number of different decks of cards and is very influential in the Druidic study around the world. And this introductory package that I've had this for almost 10 years. So I'm assuming that the order of Bards, Ovates, and Druids has new information. But I wish to read this to you just because it's inspiring. So there's two little pieces. One is from this little booklet, which when you order an intro pack, this is what they send you. They send you two or three little booklets and then a DVD. Oh, there's my cat. I like letting her. All right. I'm also going to test to see if it's possible to play some music in the background in a way that we can still hear. Can you hear that? Can anybody hear that? No. Okay. Well, save that for another day. Okay. So we're going to shift theme things a little bit differently now. Invite you into my little theater. So, do you mind turning the light? I've always loved being on stage. I've made my own stage in my own living room. Bit of a one-person show here, being the technician and the musician and the speaker. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Louder? Okay. Not sure why. Can you hear me now? Thank you. All right. Okay. So before I pick a card from Philip Cargom, I wanted to read this little passage. He says, "Greetings. Thank you for asking for more information about the order and the distance learning course we have created." So as I mentioned before, the intention of what we're doing is that we're going to order this course information about being a bard. And we're going to use that to expand our understanding and expand our interest to influence how we move together as a group, as a study. The aim of this booklet is to give you an overview of the course and the order and to answer many of the questions you might have. Once you have read this, have a look at the 2 opening lessons of the course and see whether you would like to begin the journey they present to you. The Druid tradition is ancient and is rooted way back in the distant past. For even though it is ancient, it is irrelevant and alive. It is as relevant and alive today as it ever has been. All spiritualities grow and change. Druidry has changed too, and now it is experiencing a renaissance. Every year now, Druid groups form. New websites spring up and new books are published. Druidry has become a vital and dynamic nature-based spirituality that is flourishing all over the world. It is a spirituality that unites our love of the earth with our love of creativity and the arts. For this reason, much of the modern Druid movement is concerned with innovation and celebration in new ways.
Recording in progress.
Technology. Oh, Love Cat. Are you on stage now? This is Bermew. Loves being in the spotlight and on my lap. Would you like to join me? Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. I'm going to read that again, just in case you missed it. So this is a reading from Philip Cargom from the introduction little booklet for the teachings of the Bardic arts. He says, "Greetings. Thank you for asking for more information about the order and the distance learning course we have created. The aim of this booklet is to give you an overview of the course and the order and to answer many of the questions you might have. Once you have read this, have a look at the 2 opening lessons of the course to see whether you would like to begin the journey they present to you. The Druid tradition is ancient and is rooted way back in the distant past. But even though it is ancient, it is as relevant and alive today as it ever has been. All spiritualities grow and change, and Druidry has changed too. Now it is experiencing a renaissance. Every year, new Druid groups form, new websites spring up, and new books are published. Druidry has become a vital and dynamic, nature-based spirituality that is flourishing all over the world. It is a spirituality that unites our love of the earth with our love of creativity and the arts. For this reason, much of the modern Druid movement is concerned with innovation and celebration in new ways of living, community, ritual, music, poetry, storytelling, and the visual arts. Flowing through all these exciting new developments is the power of an ancient tradition, the love of land, sea, and sky, the love of the earth and our home. We hope you enjoy reading through the material we have sent you with every good wish, Philip Cargom. He ends with, there are 3 candles that illuminate every darkness: truth, nature, and knowledge, an ancient Irish triad. So I just wanted to share the level of care and depth offered in this, and that the intention of this study of the Bardic arts is to be inspired by this work of the Order of Bards and Ovates and Druids, and then expand based on our own ancestry, our own traditions, maybe the land that we're on, and develop an understanding as a group of where we want to take this. For example, I have some friends that are intentionally spending time on each of the different solstices and equinoxes where we are going out into the community and sharing some stories or song or dance or movements to honor our ancestors or bring to light the knowledge and understanding of what is happening at that time. So they have a poem here by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. It's good stuff. We could like sit on just that poem alone today and pull it apart and retell it and craft it on this screen and move our bodies to it and turn it into music. Maybe we'll do that at the start of next month's session. I love Mary Oliver. So I'm going to pull you a card. And then I'm going to share what it says about that card. After that, we're going to dabble a little bit with these visual arts here and connect it to some of the bardic work from the Order of Bards, Ovates, and Druids. And then I want you to start to think about what it is you would like to bring to your first session. Maybe you have art, maybe you have music, maybe you have poetry. If you want to be bringing it, now's the time to start percolating with these ideas. Sorry, love cat. One of the decks that Philip and Stephanie created. There's a few, and I'd like to be able to use a few different decks. And I just like to pull a card for today. I'm curious if you have a practice of pulling cards. This is what I do. I make sure I touch every single card, and by just gently shuffling the cards, I take one hand, which I call my power hand. I'll use that hand to choose the card. Now, it's important if you pull it upright or upside down, otherwise known in reverse, will determine what part you need to read. But more importantly, it's to dive deep into the visual that you see. So this time, I'll pick the card, but next time I'm going to get somebody else to choose when to stop. Two of Pentacles. Never tried this before, but I'm going to give this a go. Let's see that. All right. Now, let's try. The Two of Pentacles, about balance, trust, and playfulness. You may need to seek balance in your life, but to do this requires trust and playfulness rather than concentration or caution. Pentacles traditionally refer to material wealth and practical matters, and this card can refer to the ups and downs of material fortunes. Although if this is indicated, the variations are not likely to be large, and there will probably be no great loss or gain. If the card is next to a court card representing a person in your life, it is possible they will offer you practical help or advice. It is always attractive to have two of anything, but keeping them both in play can create stress. Two or more jobs, homes, or demanding relationships, or whatever it is you are trying to juggle
can be hard at times, but the card conveys a sense of optimism and playfulness. And behind that, a deep trust in the dance of life. You may well always have a number of factors to juggle in your life, but what makes them a joy rather than a burden is your attitude, your trust in the process of being alive. Dun, dun, dun. What a great card for today. We could sit with that all day if we wanted to. Again, I'm just giving you a taste of the kinds of things that we get to interact with together in this study of the Bardic arts. I'm going to try something a little bit different now. I'm playful a little bit here and see if this tickles your fancy. This playful old one. Oh, how do we make this happen? Bermew, you're in the spotlight. Holy smokes, he's so big in this room. Okay. Right there. Now, this is the funny piece about doing this from the comfort of my home.
Recording in progress.
Oh, that's better. Guess we could even. Okay, so we're just going to play around with this for a minute. I'm just going to play around for a minute. One of these days we'll get this perfectly square and just like we need, but Bermew wants to be in the show, so this is how it's going to go for today. All right, just to be fun and silly, I wish to read from the Order of Bards, Ovates, and Druids, the Bardic grade. Getting all blurry. Okay, 1 second. Let's see if this helps. Oh, technology. So this is one of the little booklets that we get to learn from. And this is who's going to share it with us. As you work. Wait 1 second. as you work with the course, please remember that you are not obliged to blindly accept any of the ideas or methods presented to you. If you feel that certain aspects of the teachings do not speak to you, leave them aside. Maybe at a later date, they will acquire meaning or relevance in your life. I think we're back. I'm hoping this is going to work. It seems like the Wi-Fi signal right now is a bit spotty. So I'm going to give this one last go. And then if that's it, then I will finish up here.